Thank you again, friends. Thank you for joining. Inshallah, as we were just talking, Allah has 7 days. The 7 days of Allah are the day of Adam, the day of Noah, the day of Ibrahim, the day of Musa, the day of Isa, the day of Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the day of revealing, the day of Qiyamah, the day of Allah, the day that He will manifest Himself on the earth, which is on the water. And that is the day of Saturday. On such a great Saturday, let's try to unveil the Bāținī Ta'wīlat of this parables of the wise Qur'an. Even though this session will be an individual, independent part number 29, but there was some question asked at the very beginning of the day 28 in the previous Saturday session. If you had not paid attention to those questions, we will share those questions with you to remind you. What were those 10 questions? And let's see, how does our faith, our belief, our logic, our intellect, the way we understand, and the way we read into the Qur'an, and the way the Ta'wīl of some of these verses of the Qur'an, in which Allah speaks about Himself as being Zahir, present, manifested, always around you, next to you, with you, close to you. First, let me remind from the Surah Baqarah, ayat number 118. Even though this is not the ayat of our subject today, but a cross reference, an ayat to remind us that how Allah is everywhere and He is always and always present. No one can say that He is only belong to Bāțin, or He belong to the past or the future, where He Himself says that I am belong to the east and the west, or wherever you turn. In other words, wherever you are, I am with you. Whichever way you will see, and if you believe, you will find me. You will find the face of Allah. Indeed, He is all-encompassing and knowing. 10 questions that we had posed at the beginning of our 20th lesson, as a reminder, are on your screen now. I would encourage you to listen to the previous session so you can completely understand the subject and the questions. 1 through 10. Has Allah Himself ever come to this physical world we call Earth? Does He do that? Can He do that? Should He do that? Will He do that? That is one question. Question number 2. 3. What are your beliefs? And I believe this is very important for us to reflect on our own beliefs. Do you believe that Allah is capable, or do you not believe in His might, power of coming to the earth if He wish, when He wish, and how He wish? What is your beliefs? Most important question in these 10 questions. Because if you do not believe that He could do that, then another questions would come to mind. Is there anything Allah cannot do? Nozbillah, how can we even think like that or believe that there is one thing that He cannot do? He is the most powerful, all-encompassing, the one with Kalima Kun. Al-Wahidul Kahar, Qadir Mutallak, the Jabbar, the Zahir. Because if you don't believe in this one, all of those other references you are saying are Nozbillah, not correct in the Qur'an Hakim. The words of Allah would be refused. And as a Muslim, we cannot do that. We will not ever do that. So what are your beliefs? What do you think about the coming of Allah on the earth? What do you think about it? As an intellectual, let's reflect on that. Individually, how do we see that? And how do we think about that? If He ever comes, how would He manifest? So now we are at the half point on those 10 questions. After saying He is Qadir Mutallak, and after asking, how do you think that He would come to the earth? Now, how do you see it manifest? If He ever comes, how would He manifest? What shape and form would He take? How would you know who He is? How would you know? If Allah all of a sudden, with His might, come right in front of you, how would you see Him? How would you know who He is? A king coming into this subject in a town, changing his attire, taking the shape and form, a costume of a camel. How would you know he is the king, the one? How would you know who he is? What kind of honor would he receive from humans like you and me, and especially from the honored preachers, so-called mullahs and maulvis, so-called the people of the religion, the authorities in the world of religions, whichever religion? How would they see that? And how would they receive the one? How would they receive? What kind of honor would they give to him? How would we react when we discover that he has manifested and shown himself to the humanity, to you and me? How would we react? The last question: is it even possible for us to be able to see him if he manifests himself? Those are the questions that we had posed at the beginning of our previous session. And you remember how powerful, amazing that session was. No credit goes to this Garib and Najis. All praises are due to him and him only. Maybe sometime he manifests himself through ilm, through understanding, through enlightenment, on the urge of your heart, on the urge of your thoughts, on the urge of your personal world. How do we see all of this? Would you like to think about this for a minute? Because remember, it is individual. In meanwhile, through some question and answer, while you are thinking of those questions for yourself, let's listen to the Ta'wīl of Surah 89, Ayat 22, where Allah talks about Wajā Rabbuka wal Malakan Safan Safa. That when he comes with the angels rank by rank. Then question and answer. 2 questions, 2 answers. It is said in Surah Fajr, Surah 89:22, and your Lord shall come with the angels rank upon rank. Will this wondrous and marvelous event of Qiyamah occur physically? That's the question. Answer: the act of coming and going is ascribed to God's allegorically, therefore it has a Ta'wīl. If God is everywhere and with everyone, all time and all places, then coming and going, those 2 vocabulary cannot be used for him. And if we see this in the Quran, in the Tanzili form in the word, then it is allegorically, and therefore it requires Ta'wīl. The Ta'wīl is that God is present everywhere and is all-seeing. He is that ocean of Nur, light, which is mentioned in Surah Nur, ayat number 35, in which the entire universe is submerged, as He is the Nur of the heaven and the earth. Since there is not even a single particle between the heaven and the earth of the empty space in this ocean of the Nur, the light of Allah, between the heaven and the earth. The question of God coming and going does not arise. Therefore, in this verse, by the coming of God is meant the manifestation of Hazrat Qiyamatul Qiyamat. May peace be through him on us Garib and Nachis. The Ta'wīl of the coming of Allah mentioned in above verse was actually the prediction, the manifestation of the Qaim. And every religion in the world, even Hindus, Jewish, Christians, and of course Muslims, believe in the coming of the Lord on the seventh day. And we are all waiting for that perfect manifestation, what we call in this session Qaim or Qaimul Qiyamat. May His blessing be upon us. The next question today, by God's grace, you have unveiled the greatest secret of the lovers of the Nur. Alhamdulillah, kindly tell us more secrets related to Hazrat Qaimul Qiyamat, the Lord of the time of Qiyamat. May the peace of him be through his manifestation on us Garib and Nachis. Another secret, my friends. Hazrat Qaim, the manifestation of Lord, promised to the humanity, to the Muslimin, to the people of religion in all books, regardless of the book of God, including Qur'an, that he would manifest himself on the water, and his manifestation would be on the arsh, on the throne, on the last day. Answer: Hazrat Qaim, who is from the and will be from the Ale Nabi, Aulade Ali, progeny of the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is the representative of Qiyamah, the day of Qiyamah, on behalf of Allah and his Prophet, since he is the locus of manifestation, the mother of God's light, and his representative of Qiyamah. Therefore, his coming in the world of religion is like God's coming. On the day of Qiyamah, inshallah, those who are believer and those who are awaiting, they will see the manifestation of God in the form of a human, and he will be from the Pashtan-e-Pak progeny of the Muhammad and Ali Salawatullah alayhi. And therefore, the coming of Allah, Ta'wīl, is coming of the Qaim on the day of Qiyamah. Note carefully that God, may he be purified and exalted, is the absolute king. He alone commands. Therefore, all his work is carried out by the angels, prophets, and imams, including his promise of manifesting himself, will be done by the angel or the prophet or the imams in the progeny of the prophet and Ali. Let's continue, and don't forget you are supposed to be thinking about those questions. Please reveal more secrets regarding this fact, regarding the coming of the Allah in the shape and form of a perfect man, Qaimul Qiyamah. Await they any other miracles than that Allah, that is his representative of Qiyamah, should come to them in the shadows of the cloud along with the angels, and the matters be decreed? What would you like? What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for him, the Almighty, comes with his Kalima-e-Kun, with his miracles, with his Amr and the command, in the shape and form of a perfect man at the time of Qiyamah? But when he will come, even his manifestation will come in the many ways. An example, behind the shadows of the cloud, as the sun on the rainy day hides behind the cloud, or the moon and the stars hide in a dark night, Hujjat. He will come, and if you are truly waiting, and if you are the true believer and have believed, then you will know that he has come. Otherwise, he will come in the shadows of the cloud, in the darkness of the night, and you will just wait, and the next morning will come, and you will miss, and you will lose the greatest didar of the Allah's manifestation. As you were sleeping, as your eyes were closed, as your belief was in the darkness of the night, as you could not see because you were not looking, as you did not understand how, where, when he will appear in front of you. That is why we have those questions. So you may reflect. So you may reflect. Individually, we need to reflect. This is a great trial for people, for the readers of the Quran, for the Muslimin and the people of the religion, all the humans. See the wise Quran in Surah 42:51. God has a veil, and by the veil is meant his mazhar, locus of manifestation. Please, please reveal more secrets as our heart are happy, as our minds are enlightened. Please reveal more secrets. The meaning of everything being in the Imam Mubin. وَكُلِّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ. Surah Yasin, ayat 12. Is that the complete treasure of the Quran's Ta'wīl? We all know Surah Yasin is called the heart, the center of the Quran. Why? What makes Surah Yasin the center and the heart of the Quran? One ayat and one ayat only. One word or one phrase and one Ta'wīli hikmat hidden in this ayat. And that is the Imam Mubin. If everything is encompassed in the Quran, in Surah Yasin, in this ayat, in the Imam Mubin, then what about the manifestation of Allah? Is that also encompassed in the Imam Mubin? What about the Noor and the Arsh? Is that also encompassed in Imam Mubin? Because Kulliya Kul, everything, everything is encompassed in Imam Mubin. Is that the complete treasure of the Quran's Ta'wīl? Is in Hazrat Qaim's Noor, light? Therefore, Qiyamah occurs in the personal world with Hazrat Qaim's manifestations. And with it comes Ta'wīl. Are you waiting for Ta'wīl? Are you waiting for Qaim? Are you waiting for Qiyamah? Are you waiting for Allah to manifest himself with the angel? What are you waiting for? It is mentioned in Surah Araf, Surah 7, ayat number 53. Do they wait for any other Qiyamah? But it's Quran's Ta'wīl. From this it becomes evident that Qiyamah is the living Ta'wīl, living Ta'wīl of the Qur'an, which is linked with Hazrat Qaim. May the blessings through him be upon us. We took this reference and the question and answer was presented to Allama Sahib in the book Pearl, Casket of Pearls, Volume 2. In another book, he further explained, the name is Precious Treasure, page number 87. In the Ta'wīl of 8922, God says, and your Lord, the Almighty Allah, and his angels will come in ranks as they are to be ranks. Ta'wīl purport. To come from one place to wisdom of this verse is the Hazrat Qaim, and the great angels will come. They will manifest in this physical world, rank by rank in the world of religion. The Ta'wīl of their standing in rank is that they will have one common personality, meaning. If you can think of a triangle like this, a triangle like this. At this junction, if you are looking closely, Qaim will be in the front, and all of the angels lined up behind him. So when you will see from this side, you will see one. The manifestation of God in the form of most perfect man, Hazrat al-Qaimul Qiyamah. And if you would look closely, you will see that behind him would be angels rank by rank by rank in thousands upon thousands upon thousands. Wajah Rabbuka, the face of your Lord, the manifestation of your Lord in the most perfect manifestation, Mother, will come. And he will come with Malakun Safan Safa. Angels row upon row. Inshallah, let's come to our last slide. And do not forget the questions. Here, we are taking this again from two of the perfect books which explain some of the manifestation, the form, the question we ask, how, where, when. He is answering it. The angels and the spirit descend in it, fiha, by the permission of their Lord Almighty, with all kinds of commands, amr, decrees. From Surah Qadr, ayat number 4. Although every imam in his time is the spiritual king, but according to the great program of God, all times are not alike. All the age and time are not alike. Thus, the time of Qiyamah will be extremely important and very special time. In fact, it is the greatest of all time. For in the language of the Ta'wīl of the Qur'an, his exalted personality is the night of power, Shab-e Qadr, Subhanallah, Subhanallah, in which the angels, the supreme soul, the soul, and other souls of the world of command descend to the physical world. When, where, and how? We just answered. When? Time of Qiyamah. How? Along with the angels, soul, where? In the night of Qiyamah, in the Hujjat-e Qaim, in the night of power, Shab-e Qadr, in the Laylatul Qadr, the most powerful night. This is how, where, and when. Thus, in the time of this living, Shab-e Qadr, Laylatul Qadr, night of power, that promise of God, which is mentioned in Surah Qadr, ayats 1 through 5, has been fulfilled. All this is according to the great program of God, Allah the Almighty, which is mentioned in the Quran time after time and time again, which is related to the night of power and Hazrat-e Qaimul Qiyamah, the most exalting greeting and peace be upon him. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Descent of the Supreme Soul in the night of power. Surah Qadr, Ta'wīli purport. Now we are talking about the soul in the night of power. Surah Qadr, the Ta'wīl of the soul in the night of power is, we reveal the perfect, the supreme Nur of the Qaim from the progeny of the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Mullah Ali alayhi salam progeny in the personal world of his Hujjat. That answer our question. How would we recognize him? What would he look like? Where would he come? All of those questions are being answered if you are paying attention. In the personal world of the Hujjat, the Bab, the Hujjat-e-Qaim is better than other Imams, better than 1,000 Imams, because the Lord, the Qaim, and the angels descend in his personal world. Therefore, he is better than 1,000 months. This is the same Ta'wīl as verse 89:22, according to the verse of 97:4. The Spirit which descends together with the angels in the luminous resurrection is the supreme soul, the most perfect soul, that is the sacred light, the Nur of Hazrat-e Qaim. This was taken from one of the greatest writing of Allama Sahib called Qur'an and the Qaim. Is not even printed yet, but through some resources we were able to find this quotation from that book. So this is the end of our session today. What I would like to do is come back and stay at this page. So you can see the 10 questions asked, 10 questions revealed, and 10 questions answered. Inshallah.